You are at the gas station, you fill up your tank to the brim, and yet your fuel gauge is still sitting on empty or bouncing around like crazy. This is exactly what happens when your car throws a P0461 code, which indicates a range or performance issue with your fuel level sensor. This little sensor lives inside your fuel tank, usually part of the fuel pump module, and it converts the mechanical position of a float into an electrical signal for the powertrain control module. If that signal does not match what the computer expects based on your fuel usage, it triggers the light. One of the funniest but most common ways people trigger this code is by leaving the engine running or the ignition on while they are refueling. The computer sees the fuel level rising way too fast while it thinks the car should be consuming gas, and it just gets confused. This happens a lot on Chrysler, Ford, and even some Nissan or Subaru vehicles. Before you go dropping the fuel tank, which is a massive job, you should check for any technical service bulletins. For example, some Ford products have issues where aftermarket remote starters mess with the fuel signal and set this code falsely. If there is no software update, you need to find the connector for the fuel pump and look for any signs of rubbing, melted plastic, or corrosion. Since this connector is exposed to the elements under the car, it is the #1 spot for failure. Pull it apart and look for any green tint on the metal pins. If it is dirty, give it a good spray with electrical contact cleaner. If the wiring is solid, you can test the sensor with a voltmeter. With the key on but the engine off, you should see either 5 volts or 12 volts on the signal wire depending on your specific model. You can also check the resistance of the sensor itself using an OA meter. For instance, half a tank of gas might show around 80 ohms of resistance. If your readings are totally off or showing infinite resistance, then that sensing arm inside the tank is likely stuck or broken, and you will need to replace the fuel level sensor unit to get your distance to empty readings back to normal. Just remember to always turn your car off when you are at the pump to avoid these mechanical rationality errors in the first place.